Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al, week 9 cage match, the head-to-head battle. And this week I have a lovely guest on the show, Mr. CDCARTER13 from NBC Sports Edge. We're going to see how he can perform here in the cage. He's one of the, let's say, the most foremost player on streaming tight ends, quarterbacks, and defenses based on a podcast that he's done for years. And I used that podcast a lot in the past to try and, whether it was to verify my own biases or whether it was to find out other guys, because typically streamers in season-long fantasy make for great value plays in regular season fantasy. So if you are new to this show and you don't know the format, if you play head-to-heads on Draftkings, you're going to have a lot of overlap. You're going to end up with like a 2 versus 2 or a 3 versus 3 because everybody kind of consolidates around the best value plays. But we're going to draft this kind of schoolyard style, 1st and 1, 2nd and 2. Loser's going to donate to the winner's charity. There's going to be absolutely no overlap between these two lineups, which is what makes this cage match somewhat unique. So if you're new to the show, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me a reply down below, call your mom, let her know how you're doing, and tell her that CD Carter's on the show, and I'm about to own him online. Let's go!
He's a legend.
Never been owned. The streak is intact.
Yeah, undefeated. Denny, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm a little rattled about the Aaron Rodgers thing. I'm out of sorts. You know, we just talked about Jordan Love before the stream here, and I just recorded living the stream today because I lost power yesterday. So I'm not in my routine, you know what I mean? And so I'm a little off.
Yeah, you're not as combobulated as you usually are. In fact, you might be considered discombobulated at this point.
The combobulation is not optimized at the moment.
I'm going to hope to make you as disgruntled as possible, and hopefully I'll leave this draft feeling extremely gruntled with the way that I'm picking these teams. But I need for you to tell everybody where they can find your content. So why don't you tell everybody where they can find all of your podcasts, your shows, your social media, everything.
Definitely. NBCSportsEdge.com is the home to all of my writing, including my kicker column, all important kicker column, which, by the way, people read, they shame read it, I should say.
In like, record numbers.
It gets pretty good traffic. Like it gets good numbers, but no one retweets it. And very few people favorite it. So it looks like an orphan out there, you know, but people, and then they will DM me. I have my DMs open because I'm a masochist, and people will DM me and they'll say, hey, like, I saw you wrote this. Am I starting this guy over that guy? Talking about kickers. Okay. So people are deeply ashamed that they read my kicker column, but they still do it. And then on Thursdays, I have my target decoder column where we talk about very borderline fantasy options. And you know, my colleagues at NBC Sports Edge are just filling the site with excellent content, hashtag content all week.
Fantastic. So go follow him on Twitter. Go read all of his articles. And before you picked second, so I'm going to go first here in just a second. But as I said, we are playing for charity. And the two charities that we're playing for, I will be playing for No Kid Hungry as always, trying to raise $25,000 on the season. We are over $16,000 raised so far. 1 in 6 kids in America is suffering from food insecurity, and we're trying to do what we can. Every single dollar helps. So go to smizzle.tv/charity. Like I said, even $1. If you have $1, if you want one less latte a month, $5 obviously helps. If you can't afford to donate more, to try and do what we can. And every $5,000 that we've raised, I'm going to match $5,000, and we're in the double match portion now. So if you get to $20,000, I will donate another $10,000. Hopefully getting us, if we reach all the goals, to $40,000 from me, $25,000 from you, $65,000 raised for No Kid Hungry on the season. Denny is going to be playing for RACES, the Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services. We are going to be playing for $100 today. Loser will donate to the winner's charity. And you said that I'm going to go first here. So now I've got to figure out what I want to do with this first pick. And you know what?
Yes.
It's a weird week. There's no blatant, glaring value that's just out there on the board that you must have, right? There's nothing out there that you just have to have this week.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Like I don't know if you want to call it fair, Like usually when it's soft, I hate saying that the salaries are soft, but like sometimes they're just extremely friendly. You know? I think that we're looking at a week where the salaries are just kind of fair across the board. Like the players that are cheaper at running back and wide receiver are just lower volume guys, and the higher volume guys are priced at a point where, you know, it's not wrong. It's just like, okay, that's about the right price, which doesn't make this really easy for us on a Wednesday. So I'm going to take somebody that it's weird to take him with a first pick in this spot. And again, I know I'm going to get eye rolls for this, but I'm going to take Myles Gaskin going up against Houston with his recent bump in terms of snaps, in terms of percent of running back touches, inclusion in the passing game. Hopefully he can get himself into the end zone. 5,800 is a fair price. So you're going to hear from me probably a lot on this video. Gets me a little bit of volume, allows me to kind of take a running back that I think will be fine, who should have a little bit of heightened touchdown expectation with a nice floor of volume here. He's not going to kill me. And it gives me an opportunity at maybe a 15 to 25 point day. If everything breaks right, a 25 point day. But if things are going to break right for a running back, it's going to be against Houston. So I'll take Myles Gaskin.
Myles Houston.
Yeah, Myles Houston this week is what his name is.
It's a great play. I hadn't been thinking Myles Gaskin, but that obviously is a good pick. So I go twice now, right?
You get two of them.
All right. I believe that I'm going in on the Bills because they have what I think is a good matchup. I don't know about you, and I don't know about the community, but I think the Bills facing the Jags, they are 420 point favorites against the Jaguars. I feel like one play that I feel like I need is Stefon Diggs this week. I think he's due for a blow up. We've been saying this for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. But against Jacksonville, I think it's happening. So I will go with Diggs with my first pick. And then, oh man. So I was going to go with Dalvin Cook here, but here's the thing. The Ravens are an extreme pass funnel defense. Almost 78% of the yards against them come through the air. And so if the Vikings are going to score a bunch of points this week, it's almost definitely coming, through the air. So, and I mean, I know that Dalvin Cook is involved in the pass game as well. So I'm not completely discounting that factor. But I'm looking just above Dalvin Cook here, and I'm seeing Austin Eckler.
Yeah. Good play.
Facing a Philadelphia defense that is a massive run funnel. So I think I'm going to go with Eckler.
Fair enough. And he's getting those inside the 5 carries that he never got in previous years. Philly is giving up the second most points on the season to running backs on DraftKings, and a lot of work in the passing game as well, like a lot of targets and a lot of catches coming against them. And Austin Eckler is good at doing those things, getting targets and catching the ball. So I think that works out well if you're going to pay up for a running back. He seems to be the best high dollar value that exists. Now, you mentioned, I don't mean to correct you, Denny, but I believe that you were a little bit off on the spread on the Buffalo Jacksonville game. I think that Buffalo is favored by 69 points and the total is 420.
There you go. I'm sorry. That's my fault. That wasn't professional of me, and I appreciate the correction.
I just wanted to make sure that we got it right, for the fans. They're here and they need to know basically what we should be doing. Now, here's
this is a fact-based stream.
Yes, we're a forward-thinking, fact-based show, but never fact-check me. That's basically what my philosophy is. Right. I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna keep this really simple. I'm gonna keep this extremely simple.
Okay.
Not a great human, but really fast. Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
You've heard of him before.
I have.
Yeah. Here's the weird thing. If I told you that Tyreek Hill against the Giants was going to have 18 targets and 12 receptions, you would think that he had how many fantasy points?
Well, I was going to go with yards. I would say the over-under on that would be 300 yards.
Yeah, roughly. He had 94, but one of them was a touchdown. Just the weirdest night. They somehow turned Tyreek Hill into prime Jarvis Landry last week, which was it was a sight to see.
Terrible.
But
I mean, for fantasy, it's good.
yeah,
He's
I
absorbing
guess.
all the targets. Maybe, I've heard this theory that Travis Kelce was hungover on Monday,
Really?
and because Halloween was the night before,
Okay.
he's a party guy.
Hmm.
Maybe he wasn't feeling too well. So, but the consequence, the fallout was that Tyreek Hill absorbed all those short targets. So if that continues, if Kelsey's hungover next week, we could see that again.
All right. Well, look, he's just going to absorb a lot of targets. Whether Travis Kelce went dancing with Jose the night before or not, 15 targets in week 1, 12 in week 4, 13 in week 5, 12 in week 6, the 9 in week 7. This offense basically is geared towards getting Tyreek Hill the ball. And from a football perspective, that's not a bad thing. He's 7,900 going up against Green Bay, the highest team total on the week, I believe, if not one of the highest team totals. Definitely the highest game total, even though, as we mentioned, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be there. Keep it as simple as possible. I want Tyreek Hill in my lineups this week, and I know that there's enough value to get him.
I'm all about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Kicking it back to you.
So I obviously, going with Diggs and Eckler, crushed my remaining dollars.
No money player left now.
I just destroyed it. So I want to get the one of the 2 or 3 really cheap wide receiver options who I think will continue to see volume this week, and that would be Jamal Agnew for Jacksonville. Agnew, I believe, led Jacksonville with 12 targets last week against Seattle. Again, the Jags are going to see tons of negative script. They're going to be throwing a lot. Agnew gets those cheap PPR points. I'm going to go with him at wide receiver.
He's been good. They're like, hey, we're just going to throw the ball to you instead of anybody else. Jamal Agnew is basically who all of fantasy Twitter wanted Laviska Shenault to be.
Yes, it is. And they still have Shenault lined up on the outside.
Yep.
And he's getting no action out there. He's just getting exercise. He's running laps. Yeah. Running.
It's good for his long-term health, though. I'm very happy for his heart condition.
It is.
He doesn't have a heart condition. I mean, later in life, when he's middle-aged, he's going to be like, you know what? I'm thankful for that 2021 season because my resting heart rate is now like 40.
Right. I feel like I could use, I should join a flag football team and just run routes down the field.
Just run wind sprints all afternoon.
I think that would be good at 38 years old. I feel like that would be good for me.
I think it would be. Again, you have kids. It's good for your long-term health. Love the Jamal Agnew pick. 4,300 was a good value for us last week. Remains a good value this week. I don't know where I want to go. Okay, I kind of know where I want to go. There's one ugly pick, but there's another good pick. God, there's so much nastiness out there this week. This week is so dumb.
Pat Doherty, my co-host on a good football show, would call it a sicko play. It's a sicko play. Denny, you have any sicko plays for this week?
This one's kind of a sicko play.
Okay.
Again, all my plays are going to be eye roll plays this week. T. Higgins is still 5,300, still getting an awful lot of usage. As defenses are going to adjust and roll towards Jamar Chase's side of the field, T. Higgins is getting enough volume and enough air yards to pay off this 5,300 tag very easily. This is a floor show, not a ceiling show, because we're trying to build cash game type lineups. So I want guys that are getting peppered with a lot of targets. He's in a heavy pass game offense. Cleveland is a tough defense for sure, but you got to worry about that other guy. There's too many weapons, and Joe Burrow has been quite good, maybe almost too efficient, right? Like he's thrown more touchdowns than expectations. So like that should correct at some point, but it doesn't always correct within season. Yeah. And like the price discount that I get going from Chase to Higgins with the amount of end zone targets that Higgins has seen this year. I like the safety in this spot. Also with the possibility of touchdown upside, I need to find a little value to do the things that I want to do. And Higgins allows me that. So I'll take him.
Yeah. Higgins has gotten incredibly unlucky.
Yes.
After his return from injury, and I see that turning around. All right. So I'm going to go with another running back, but not really a running back. Okay. Ooh. Which is really like on brand, I believe, for me. I'm going with CPAT. CPAT running back. Yep. And it has a lot to do, not entirely, not everything to do, but it's a lot to do with Calvin Ridley being out for indefinitely, I guess. And Patterson will soak up, along with Pitts, will soak up a lot of that volume. Last week against Carolina, he had 9 rushing attempts, which is whatever. But he had 5 catches, including 1 for a touchdown. So I think that offense runs through Patterson and Pitts from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had already gotten a merit-based promotion starting in week 5, playing a lot more snaps, getting a lot more higher percentage of the running back touches. And now Ridley being out just solidifies the need for him in the passing game to kind of make this offense go. So I do like CPAT this week at 6,300. You got 4,760 remaining.
Yep. Is it my go again?
No, it's my go. Yeah. I'm just, again, the cage is not necessarily about building the optimal lineup.
No.
It's way more about inflicting as much pain on my opponent as I possibly can.
Right, exactly. Like in the cage, like in UFC. I don't watch UFC, but I see them when the guy's completely out on the canvas and the guy's boom, 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 over and over and over.
Yeah, until somebody makes him stop.
Right, right. It's just the most barbaric thing I've ever seen.
So, I think I could block you by doing a thing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I could totally block you by doing a thing, but where would it leave my lineup? Because I have different routes I can go. I think that you're limited in the routes that you can go here.
I am.
So I'm going to take one thing away from you. And it's going to be Tyler Conklin. 3,000 for Minnesota going up against, as you said, Baltimore, who is...
He's 3,000?
Been shredded through the air this year. The number 2, again, tight end defense versus position can be extremely noisy, obviously. And you have the first 2 weeks of the season where the Ravens basically played peak Travis Kelce and a 19 target Darren Waller, which kind of blew up their tight end DVP. But over the last 5 weeks or over the last 4 weeks, they've still given up the 6th most fantasy points on DraftKings to opposing tight ends. And now enter, as you said, this Vikings offense is going to have to throw the ball to be effective. So give me Conklin in this spot at 3K with the amount of snaps he's playing, routes he's running, and targets per routes run, all being very solid at the position. A good floor with touchdown ceiling at only 3,000.
That's remarkable to me. The algorithm on Conklin's salary must be broken.
He should be 37 or 39. He should definitely be 20 to 30% higher than he is right now.
I mean, look at his recent targets: 8, 6, 3, 5, 7. And Baltimore is a fantastic tight end matchup. They've given up the highest target rate, or I should say target share, to tight ends on the season.
Yeah, they've been legit bad against tight end. I kind of excused it after the first 2 weeks because of how noisy that stat typically is, because not all teams feature their tight end, and they just played 2 or 3 of the teams that do. It was they played Kelce, Waller, and Hawkinson on a high target Hawkinson week, the first 3. It's okay, well, this might not be a thing. And then they started playing just average teams that have tight ends, and those guys kept getting targets. So it's this is just how DCs are attacking them.
Right. Yes, that is. And even the Colts trio of tight ends had a pretty decent day if you combine that production.
Yes. They allow that position to get loose often.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, back to you. You got 2 wide receivers, and you have 2 running backs, and 4,760 remaining.
2 receivers, 2 running back, and then. All right, so I got to get a little creative here. I'm gonna add another wide receiver. I'm gonna add Hunter Renfrow against the Giants.
Unfortunate circumstances leading to him getting more targets, but it is what it is.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to make
we don't
light
need to go into that
of any of that.
Yeah.
But even before this whole thing with Ruggs, it was he was seeing a good target share in that offense. At least 6 targets in 4 of his last 5 games. So, he's not going to blow the doors off, but in a PPR format in DraftKings, when you've already completely, destroyed your dollars per player, I like him. Okay. I like him enough.
He's a safe play because, as you said, he gets a really good floor targets. They're low ADOT targets. And as we know, players on DraftKings have an expected points per target of like, with his A dot of like 1.6 points per target.
Right.
So like if he gets like 10 targets in a game, that's 16 fantasy points that he should get if with 10 targets. Now, the next tackle that he breaks will be the first in the league, which,
Yes.
you know, congratulations for him when he does finally break that tackle. We call him the fall guy here because as soon as he catches the ball, he falls down.
That's funny.
So 4.7. Oh, God, I really just want to take Jordan Love away from you so you can't have him. But also, I want to build my team in the best way that I could possibly build my team. All right, I'm just gonna keep building my team the way that I think I should build my team. I'm gonna eschew all of the nonsense. I'm gonna go with Ezekiel Elliott here, who lost weight but continually gets fed. It's funny how that works out, really.
It's good metabolism, is what it is.
Yeah, that's really what it is. He just burns through carries faster than most people. Now, as he ages, he won't be able to do that anymore. But right now, he's still pretty young, or at least young enough, involved in the passing game, at home, favored. Denver trading away pieces at the trading deadline on defense. They're still like all right. Like the Denver Broncos are not they're kind of a middling defense. They're not great, but they're not bad. They do kind of play a little bit slow, which annoys me, but I think that Ezekiel Elliott's going to get his 20 touches. He's already one of the league leaders again in terms of inside the 5 carries. And assuming that Dak is back this week, I absolutely love Ezekiel Elliott at 7K. So I'm plugging him in.
I don't love that. I mean, I don't love that you ended up with him. So
you like Ezekiel Elliott this week?
I do, and I couldn't. I felt like I couldn't pass up Eckler. I know that they're not exactly the same.
He's amazing, just in general and also this week.
Yes, you're right. All right, I'm gonna get probably a little dumb here on. No, you know what? I'm not gonna get dumb yet.
Okay, We're gonna save the dumb.
I'm gonna save the dumb.
Okay.
All right. I have to go Love. I have to go Jordan Love.
I knew you did. That's why I was going to take him from you.
I have to do it. With this construction, with me, blowing all that money on the first 2 players. So I'll go. I'm a big fan of Love. Well, not really. But
in general.
Yeah. In general.
In real IRL, you're a big fan of Love.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah. I definitely. I just plugged him in, and I'm still gonna have to get a little creative.
I knew you like. By the time you picked your first 3 picks, I was like, he has to take Jordan Love, and if I take Jordan Love away from him, his quarterback gets really ugly. But like, I have a path to get what I felt was a better team. So I was not about pain this week, and it might come back to hurt me.
Yeah, you didn't smash my face in after I was out cold on the canvas.
All right, so Jordan Love, obvious streamer in this spot, at least in terms of Draftkings, because he's 4,400 starting for a otherwise healthy offense for Green Bay up against Kansas City's Sorensen-led defense.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Sorensen-led. Yeah, I think, for season-long purposes, it's different, but like, and also the potential for, I don't know, 4 or 5 rushing attempts, like that could be huge at that price point. Yeah.
He could scoot a little bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that he's like a running quarterback, but like he's definitely a mobile or pocket plus at worst. So fits in, and obviously we like those running backs that give us, or quarterbacks that give us that floor of rushing yards. All right. There's actually a few ways that I can go with this. I don't have to take a tight end. We know that at this point, or a quarterback, because I don't have to do that because you can't. So that leaves me with like a couple of interesting decisions. The first one that I want here, I like players that get a lot of targets in the end zone or get inside the 5 carries because touchdowns are great. And Marquise Brown, shockingly, is leading the league in terms of end zone targets, getting a ton of red zone work, and still carries with him the big splash ability that Marquise Brown always carries with him. People in Minnesota have got their torches and pitchforks out for Coach Zimmer there. I saw that Scott Fish said that he, if we offered Chicago Zimmer in return for like a grilled brisket sandwich, who says no? I'm like, good coaches are tough to find, but also looks like a really tasty sandwich. Like he put a picture of the sandwich. It looked really good.
That sounds good right now.
Yeah, right? Like I may have to order that for lunch. So Marquise Brown at 6K for me, leaving me 5,000. I do have a defense to cut that down. 15,000 in total for my final 3 spots. I'm feeling pretty good, Denny.
Yeah, you should feel pretty good. I'm jealous of your flexibility, I should say. So
many people have said that in the past. They're very jealous of my flexibility.
Right. Everybody in college told you that. All right. So
is that an old joke? What did you just do?
No, it was a sex joke. It was a terrible sex joke. So I'm sorry to the kids watching, by the way.
Yeah, this now I have to put a explicit tag on this.
The thousands of children watching the stream. So I'm deeply interested in the Broncos tight end situation with Noah Fant being on the COVID list. But the thing is, he could still play.
Yeah.
Two negative tests, and so I want to go with Albert O, whose last name I don't really know.
His last name is O.
Yeah, his last name is O. Okay.
Yeah,
we'll go with that. So and at 2,600, he would be,
I believe, is the pronunciation.
He would be okay. Okwabunum. Okay, yeah. All right, I can do that. At 2,600, he would be, pretty chalky, I believe. If Fant's
out for sure, yeah.
Am I willing to do that on a Wednesday? I don't.
This is the tough part about the cage. Now, look, if a player is out, if you draft a player who is out on Sunday, you can swap that player. So if you were to take Fant in this spot, who's 4,400, you could then swap if you wanted, if he was out on Sunday, to something else.
That's a good.
There is that protection that if a player suddenly on Friday slips down their stairs, then you're not forced to play that guy.
All right.
So there is some game theory involved here.
All right. No, thank you. I wasn't quite aware of
I try to make all of our guests abreast of the rules before I throw them through the roof of the cage. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. All right. I'm all in on the Denver tight end situation. The Cowboys have been pretty generous to opposing tight ends this year, so I'll plug in Fant. If something happens, if he can't play, I'll just swap him out for Alberto, probably.
There you go. So Noah Fant, with the thought that possibly he might be out this weekend, but again, and you don't have to swap out to Alberto. You can swap out for whatever you have in salary left at that position. So you'd still have guys like Hunter Henry and Uzoma, and you could even play Evan Engram.
Dan Arnold.
Or Dan Arnold, who was a phenomenal play last week.
But, I thought about Arnold, but I feel like I could be, his targets and Agnew's targets kind of cannibalize each other a little bit, like those middle of the field targets. Although maybe not really last week. So
yeah, they might just be plentiful enough because they're always playing from behind. All right, what's available at quarterback? I gotta see. I've got to see what's there, because I haven't spent much time thinking about cheap quarterbacks this week. Like a lot of the quarterback, other than the 20 minutes before the show started on Jordan Love, but Josh Allen's amazing. Mahomes, I believe he's still good, but he has yet to show us that. But I think he's still good. Lamar Jackson's awesome. And then coming down into this range, Derek Carr against the Giants, Kirk Cousins against Baltimore, maybe with as much of a pass funnel as they are. Oh, yeah. Jalen Hurts, until last week, had a ridiculous floor. But I kind of just want to take a defense. And again, it's about pain.
Oh no. Are you going to take the Bills?
No.
Oh.
I'm going to take the Chiefs defense here at 23.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. I have to say that I couldn't in good conscience go with the KC defense and Jordan Love.
No, you could not do that. That would be like spitting into the wind.
And you don't do that, or you don't tug on Superman's cape. Listen, I can appeal to the Zoomers all day. You put me on a stream and the 20 somethings, they just flock to me.
They do. They love you. And so does the camera. So back to you. I'm taking the Chiefs defense going up against Jordan Love making his first start. hopefully Sorensen doesn't give up 4 touchdowns.
Please, Sorensen. If you're listening, I know you are.
You got a defense and a flex. You have 10K, plenty of money to spend.
So, all right. I'm eyeing a couple defenses potentially here. No, but I'm gonna have to get ugly with defense, honestly. All right. So we have, what's the math on that? I'm trying to figure out the math on what I would have left. Okay. All right. I got it. All right. I'm gonna fill the flex here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna fill the flex with, oh man. Oh, you okay, you took Zeke, which I'm horrified.
You're upset about at this point.
Not happy at all about that. All right. I feel like it's an Aaron Jones just dump down week. Like we're talking 10 target day for Aaron Jones. So hopefully. So I'll go Aaron Jones in the flex.
I mean, look, Kansas City's been bad on defense. So hopefully it's not an Aaron Jones 3 touchdown game for me. Because that would doom me. That would be really bad.
I'm stacking Packers with Rodgers sideline, which that's the process.
How could it not work? And it's the vaunted quarterback running back stack at that.
right. You love that. You know,
yeah, the correlation matrix is all over that sort of stack.
Yes, you love it.
All right. So I have a flex play. You have a defense. I also have a quarterback. I have 5,300, I think, that I can spend in the flex. No, I have 5,400 if I do what I want to do. Mm-hmm. That leaves me like a few players. One of them is Zach Moss, who has kind of taken over the job there from Singletary and gotten a lot of snaps. But speaking of people who had been owned online, I would be remiss. You know, there's players in this price range. You got Zach Moss, you got Parker going up against Houston, but I already have exposure to the Miami offense. Edmonds has been good this year. Myers might score a touchdown at some point in his career. We hope.
We don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard to say.
But I'm gonna go with this is a high correlation play here because one, I've been working on a stat, Denny, and I call it. I like to focus on teams that play fast. Okay. Right? They get a lot of snaps. They throw the ball a lot. I call it critical pace theory. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
And if I want to focus on teams that throw the ball fast and deal with somebody, you know, staying with the theme of having Denny on the show, of one, having somebody who was owned online so hard that he deleted his Twitter account, and at the same time owning the libs, I'm going to take Cole Beasley at 5,400 in this spot.
There you go.
And
you know
like,
what?
I'm doing it all. This is the trifecta with this pick. It's a chef's kiss of
Absolutely.
a pick in a cage match against Denny.
We have the salt on the steak,
just right
that.
there.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, critical pace theory is why Glenn Youngkin won the Virginia gubernatorial race.
It is. I mean, they can't possibly teach that in schools.
The voters did not want their kids learning about fast-paced offenses.
No. Why won't the media speak about that?
It's been the silence.
Yeah.
Radio silence on this.
Haven't heard anything on CNN about critical pace theory.
Nope, nothing.
None.
All right. So
Back
we're
to you
on
for defense, and then I'll finish it off.
We're on to defense. This is a pretty easy one for me. I was thinking about the Raiders. They're on the road against the Giants. I mean, that's a good spot, but I like the Bengals at home against the collapsing/collapsed Browns.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go with the Bengals. Bengals are putting decent pressure on the passer, and Baker Mayfield with that shoulder injury has been horrific under pressure this season. So we're gonna go with Bengals.
I mean, just collapsing in on themselves like an aging star at this point. We're not trading Odell Beckham Jr. and then Wednesday morning comes, like, don't come to practice today. We're not trading you.
Yeah, what's
we're
going on?
We're not trading you, and also we don't want anything for you, but don't show up today.
Wow. Yeah. It sounds like a complete disaster in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's not good. So Bengals defense for you. I get the play. I understand the thesis of it. It makes a lot of sense. Coming back to me for a quarterback. Omar coming. Give me Lamar. Again, to own Denny, I'm going to take somebody from his geographical region here and make him just watch Lamar Jackson. Every time Lamar Jackson rears back to fire the ball 50 yards downfield, can you imagine the sphincter factor on Denny this weekend, hoping that Marquise drops it? Because if he connects, not once, but possibly twice with Marquise Brown, I have both of them on this squad. I like my team: Lamar Jackson, Myles Gaskin, Ezekiel Elliott, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Marquise, fake Hollywood Brown, Conklin, Beasley, and the Chiefs defense. I'm going up against Jordan Love, Austin Eckler, CPAT, good set of running backs there, very involved in the passing game. Diggs, one of my favorite regression candidates for the second half of the season. Jamal Agnew, the fall guy, Hunter Renfrow, Noah Fant, who might be swappable if he does not play, Aaron Jones, and the Bengals D. Denny, thank you for doing the show, and best of luck to you this weekend.
Same to you, and thank you for not smashing my face in today.
Not a problem. That's going to do it, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the replies who you think drafted the better team, and look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.